This is gonna be pretty strange, everyone. So here's the deal. I may or may not have filmed a Shipwrecked Saturday last Saturday, but also may or may not have forgotten to turn on my microphone during the recording session. So yup, well done me. So, welcome to the lost episode. But first things first, we started near our doidois, because we have brought them together last time. And I found myself a chest with an obsidian axe and a couple pieces of gunpowder, which is very nice because we use both quite a lot. But then something not so nice. I went to kill a lure plant on this island, stop it from killing my doidois, but it still ended up eating and thus killing one of our doidois. Sucks, but hey, they already banged, so all good there. Know what else is good? Seeing color in this tropical world of ours, and it's always a good munch when it's a brainy munch. So thank goodness for these brainy sprouts that are nearby. And my goodness, I actually see the color blue for Pete's sake. However, the best sight of the day was this sucker right here. We finally located not only our second only swordfish in this entire playthrough, which is kind of nuts actually, but one that is near our island and the volcano itself. So, murdered and marked. Moving on. I visited our tar extractors a lot last week, and I really don't remember why. But whatever the case, we now have tons of the black goo ready to use. I went on about how good fish steak is again, because I needed to do that again apparently. But still, 20 health and 25 hunger for something so darn simple is so darn frickin' great. I also went on about cobblestones and how you can make the turf with magma turf in Shipwrecked. In case you didn't know that. It's pretty neat actually, and we'll be making and using some soon enough. But speaking of using stuff, one can never turn down using coffee in this game. And our first coffee harvest occurred last week, and I believe I explained why some bushes unfertilized on us while picking them, and this is because it isn't dry season yet. The season that sees automatic care taken for things like coffee and elephant cacti because, they grow on the dang volcano for Pete's sake. Otherwise, ash is always going to be needed. And not only did I whip up a brew or two of the stuff, obviously, I went into using some spoiling berries for meaty balls. All this is here for is to say that, man, we are actually doing quite alright food-wise. And this is Shipwrecked for heaven's sake. The jellies are all that anybody ever needs when it comes to foodies. And speaking of food, the waters are flooding in more and more. So I decided to work towards potentially saving said food. We need sea sacks, but we need seaweed. So I went ahead and made trawl nets in order to get some, while also looking to relocate the sea stalks themselves. Oh, but one of the reasons for the tar was this baby, the buoyant chimenea. Fire, light, and cooking while on the water. Absolutely beautiful and always available. And here's a very quick and very important note to those playing at home. Pick the seaweed first and then trawl net the entire stalk. Why? Well, if you just net the entire thing initially, you lose 2 trawl net spaces instead of just 1. You have a limited space regardless. Pick, then net to be as efficient as you can about it. Oh, and we also trawl netted some bioluminescence while we were at it, which is absolutely lovely. Now, there's no need to keep murdering and eating rainbow jellies in order to have a one-man rave on the water. I then sit in front of our sea yard for 2 to 3 minutes, even after our boat fully heals itself. So I must have been saying or explaining something, but I really don't remember what the heck it was. So just use your imagination, I guess. I can tell you, though, that I transferred our food from the fridge to our newly made sea sacks. Sea sacks are kinda sorta ice boxes on the water, but not really. However, it's not only nice to use our shark gills from the tiger shark for something unique, but if the flooding were to reach our actual ice boxes, it'd be impossible to access because everything always breaks when they're flooded. Was this needed? Nah, not really, but it was something to do regardless. Oh, I also did ourselves a favor and transplanted those sea stalks I mentioned, albeit very poorly, as you can see. So, well done me again. I also went on about coral nubbins and how they allow us to create our very own coral reefs. And I even planted our first one and explained how I want to perhaps surround our island here as a form of oceanic protection. I don't know, sounds kind of cool. It's a lot of work, so it's definitely an end game project. I then go on to stand near one of our resource plots for roughly 80 years, making rope. And why? Because we're going after elephant cacti, everyone. Rope has one of the longest burn times across all of Don't Starve history. And burning elephant cacti is one of the safest methods of harvesting them. So, do you see the connection? Of course you do, because you're smart. Ah, and always lovely to see a jelly gathering under the fiery mountain of death. And since folk keep asking, these electric triangles you see are actually the wormholes of Shipwrecked. So see? The more you know. But our process was slowed. Burning elephant cacti is very easy. Bait out the initial spiky ranged attack, plop down a rope, light the blaze, and watch it go to work. It's that simple. A single rope doesn't really do the trick, but it will do quite a good job. And of course, this rain didn't help, so this was a little more painful of a trip than anticipated. Also, plenty longer to boot, because that rain, again, really did not help. I don't know why I decided to just power through it, but I did. Also, I bloody forgot that cactus armor requires 3 total cactus spikes instead of 2, so that meant another return trip to the sentient pile of molten rock. All worth it though, because cactus armor is an absolute must if you're playing around with elephant cacti. Without it, your butt is gonna be spiked. I then go on to spend like 12 minutes chopping trees, and I really don't remember why, but I believe it was for bananas for banana pops for my sanity, of course, but whatever the case. I also tell folk that dropping overheated obsidian tools and such into the water instantly cools them, so make a big note there. That is incredibly helpful. Also, for one of the only few times ever, I use a nearby homeless school of dolphins to help me slaughter a crocodile wave. Well, I rather just fled to them, and they did literally all the slaughtering because holy moly, schools of dolphins like this are incredibly deadly, but they're cute still. Oh, by the way, all that chopping was for nanner pops. I also like to believe that I briefly mentioned how good yellow mosquito sacks actually are, cause, well, they frickin' are. 20 health per sack is pretty gosh darn incredible. Just don't get stung or you're gonna be poisoned. I also made even more coffee because, you know, it's coffee. Speed is key. I finally then ventured back into the volcano, created cactus armor, and then changed my elephant cacti plan. So I spent a good long while digging up buttloads of magma turf for that. Also cause we'll be using some for cobblestone to boot. Turfing is always fun, and very profitable if you know the right guy. And while making the elephant cacti area, guess who decided to show up? The Sealnado made yet another appearance at the end of monsoon season, folks, and this time we mostly fought him on the water and then finished him off on land in hopes, of course, of getting a Krampus. Seal is very easy on the water too. It's all about not getting wet for the most part, as his usually deadly cyclone attack only produces waves and doesn't actually suck you in. So, all in all, it was a clean fight and no Krampus sack, unfortunately. Maybe next time. And then, as you could imagine, I spent a very long time trying to figure out a cool looking, yet still very useful layout for an elephant cacti X marks the spot plot. So much so that we even dipped into dry season because of it. I plan on making it better, but again, for now, I believe it fits the X marks the spot aesthetics that we're going for, and it will perform as well as we need it to. Very good stuff. And speaking of dry season, that means flying meatballs are coming. So I went and obtained the one true earring we found in the other part. Not only is it a great reference to the great Lord of the Rings, it is the best sacrificial item for appeasing the volcano. Beautiful. but can you handle it, earring bearer? Then, folks, I just simply ended with a bang. I returned to the volcano, gunpowder in hand, and then just blew up a number of obsidian boulders for fun, pretty much, because I don't plan on making anything with them yet. And there you have it. Kind of sort of the lost episode of Shipwrecked Saturday. Thanks for bearing with me, because I really couldn't just return this Saturday and be in dry season all of a sudden, along with having done all this crap that you saw here today. It would be way too confusing and all that nonsense. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.